She's only 22 years old, yet she's already collecting victories that most golfers spend their entire careers chasing. She's outperforming women who've been grinding on the LPGA Tour longer than she's even been alive. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Some players can't stand watching her play. Not because she's disrespectful. Not because she's arrogant. Not because she's breaking rules or starting drama. It's because Jonathan, this young phenom with a swing that looks like it was drawn by an artist, has quietly forced every woman on tour to rethink everything they believed about their own careers. Fans adore her. Media stories multiply the moment she steps onto a course. Her name trends after nearly every tournament. But behind the scenes, in the locker rooms, on the practice greens, that admiration becomes complicated. There's a different kind of energy, tight smiles, careful comments, and a kind of quiet tension that doesn't show up on TV. Today, we're unpacking the real reason some LPGA players are struggling to handle her meteoric rise. And trust me when I say this, the story is deeper, sharper, and far more human than you think. Let's start with a truth nobody wants to say out loud. Most professional golfers spend years, sometimes a decade, or more working through the brutal learning curve that comes with joining the LPGA. Those early years are filled with missed cuts, shaky nerves, a bank balance that barely survives travel expenses, learning new courses every week, and drowning in pressure that feels impossible to manage. It's survival mode, pure and simple. But Jonathan didn't go through that initiation phase at all. She walked onto the LPGA Tour with the confidence of someone who'd been competing at this level for 15 years. No adjustment period, no rookie mistakes, no visible struggle. She entered the arena and immediately began dismantling the leaderboard like she'd been preparing for this moment since birth. Wins piled up. 10 finishes became her baseline. Prize money rolled in effortlessly. Sponsors chased her instead of the other way around. And every time she stepped onto course, she played with a balance and precision that made veterans' hands shake on the tee box. Her swing doesn't just look good, it looks inevitable. Her composure doesn't crack even when she hits a bad shot. Pressure doesn't seem to find her. She doesn't slam a club. She doesn't mutter frustrations under her breath. She doesn't call out her caddy or look like the weight of the round is crushing her. She simply resets. One deep breath, one moment of focus, one shot at a time. And suddenly she's back on track, erasing mistakes like they never existed. And that's where everything shifts. Because every time Jonathan climbs a leaderboard, somebody else drops. Every time she grabs a trophy, someone else loses the opportunity they've been grinding for over the last 15 years. Every sponsorship she secures is money that isn't going to a veteran who thought this year was finally going to be their breakthrough season. And no matter how polite the tour tries to be, no matter how supportive everyone pretends to feel, athletes notice these things. They feel it in their bones. They're professionals, so they don't say it publicly. They won't admit they're intimidated by someone so young. They won't acknowledge that one player's sudden dominance is shaking the psychological foundation of the entire tour. But it's there, quiet, pressurized, brewing beneath the surface. The arrival of Jonathan didn't just introduce new competition. She rewrote the rules. And not everyone is thrilled. But here's where things get even more uncomfortable. It's not just the fact that she wins. It's how she wins. Watch her closely. Look at her posture. Study the way she pulls her hair back before taking a critical shot. Pay attention to her walk from the tee to the fairway, smooth, relaxed, unbothered. When things go wrong, she doesn't spiral into anxiety like most players. She doesn't stiffen up, rush her strokes, or let fear creep into her hands. The second she makes a mistake, it's gone, vanished, like she never lived through it. That kind of mental stability feels impossible for someone her age. And you better believe it gets under people's skin. Because behind the polite interviews and smiling photos, the truth is that almost every golfer on tour is battling a brutal internal war every time they compete. Nerves, self-doubt, frustration, emotional exhaustion. One bad hole can destroy an entire round. One bad round can destroy a season. And every pro knows it. Meanwhile, Jonathan, this newcomer, shows up with the one thing most players spend their whole careers searching for: unshakable mental toughness. Veterans see in her what they've been desperate to build for years. Thousands spent on sports psychologists, hours of mental conditioning, rituals, routines, and exercises to stop their minds from spiraling under pressure. And despite all that, this 22-year-old walks in already possessing the very thing they've sacrificed half their lives trying to develop. How do you not feel something about that? This isn't jealousy born from hate. It's jealousy born from fear. Fear of being overshadowed, fear of becoming irrelevant, fear of realizing that despite every sacrifice they've made, someone younger might simply be better. And that's when jealousy starts creeping into the smallest details. The shift in tone when her name is mentioned, the tight smile in interviews, the forced compliments, the players who suddenly grow quiet when she walks past, the coach who suggests studying her swing as an example, the sponsor interested in moving resources toward the new face of the LPGA. Nobody says it, but everyone feels it. Online, fans have started noticing too. They catch the awkward glances in interview clips. They point out the stiffness in competitors' body language. They see the uncomfortable reactions, the tension that seems to hover in the air whenever Jonathan is discussed. Again, none of it is confirmed. No one has gone on record saying, "I'm jealous of her." Tension doesn't need a microphone or a press release. Tension is seen, not spoken. What really makes Jonathan's rise disruptive is how she forces change. She doesn't just compete, she elevates the standard. She makes sponsors reconsider where to focus their attention. She makes coaches rewrite strategies. She makes broadcasters reframe storylines. Every tour has one transformative player at some point, and right now, she's the one reshaping everything. The ripple effect is massive. Some players respond by working harder. Others grow quieter, more guarded, and a few, whether they admit it or not, begin wondering if their career peak has already passed. But the irony is this: Jonathan never asked for any of this. She's kind, polite, focused, humble, just try and play golf. She didn't step onto the tour to stir insecurity. She didn't intend to disrupt careers. She didn't wake up planning to become the new measuring stick for the entire LPGA. She simply played the game the way she's always played it. Hard, clean, calm. But greatness has consequences. And sometimes the people who get swept up in those consequences aren't ready to face what it reveals about them. People forget that Jonathan is still human, still young, still figuring out life while the world watches her every move. She deals with the same stress as everyone else: travel exhaustion, loneliness, media pressure, unrealistic expectations. She carries burdens that would break many players twice her age, and yet she handles it with grace so flawless that it almost makes things worse for her competitors. Because while they're fighting emotional battles on every shot, she's showing them what emotional control looks like. And that's the deepest cut of all. Her presence alone creates pressure. Her consistency raises the bar. Her calmness exposes insecurity. Her wins force everyone else to evaluate their own limitations. And whether they like it or not, every woman on tour understands something very clearly. The Jonathan era isn't coming. It's already here. She's not just changing scoreboards. She's changing psychology. She's changing expectations. She's changing the sport. And for some players, that's a hard reality to accept. Because when someone else's brilliance forces you to confront the limits of your own game, jealousy isn't a choice, it's a survival instinct.